everyone. Thank you so much for being here for another edition of our monthly webinar series, Plugged In with Paulsons. Today, we are so happy to welcome our friends from LG to talk about cutting the cord and all that LG offers in the world of smart TVs and life off the cable. So we're very excited to hear from them. So we're just gonna walk through a couple things here and then I'll hand it off to the guys. Thank you again for being here. My name is Emily. I'm the Director of Marketing and Outreach here at Paulsons. If you've been on a few of these, you've met me before. And it's so nice to see a lot of familiar faces and some new folks today. So today I'm going to share a little bit about Paulsons and about who we are and what we do. And then I'll hand it off to our friends at LG to talk about what you need to cut the cord, how not all smart TVs are created equal, what LG really brings to the table in that space, how to navigate that smart TV, and kind of the next generation of television. So we'll end with some Q&A. And if you do have questions along the way, feel free to jump in the chat box. It should be in the bottom or the bottom right of your screen, and to drop those questions in there, and I'll quarterback those to the Bobs as we go. Next one there, Bob, please. Cool. So today we have Bob Snyder and Bob T. Can you pronounce your last name for me, please?
Turcotte.
Turcotte, just how it looks. I love a phonetic name. Yes, I'm sure it had a cool French or other variation at some point in history.
I've heard many variations, actually.
I'm sure. So Bob and Bob are both product trainers with LG, and they were kind enough to hop on the call with us today and share their knowledge and expertise. So thank you both so much for being here. And then on the Paulson side, Dan and Chris, I think maybe hopping in at one point or another, where things are a little crazy in our showroom this week. So we're trying to meet everybody's needs, but you at least have me and you have the people who know the most about LG. So we will be good. Next slide, please. So a little bit about Paulsons, just while I have you as a captive audience, can't miss that opportunity. So we are your local AV and smart home family owned and operated shop. So we started out as a run-of-the-mill TV store and speakers and things like that. And over the years we've grown and we're still very true to those roots, but we also offer a lot of different things, including fantastic TVs from LG. And that is a photo of our showroom there. We do have the largest display of TVs in Metro Detroit. So if you're shopping for a TV, Paulsons is the place to go. We have a large showroom, small but mighty staff, lots of space to move around and shop safely, especially in current climate. And you're going to get to see all the latest technology and the best of the best. So stop in and see us. We do always beat Amazon, Best Buy, and Costco prices. And we'll even pull up those competing prices in store and show you that you are getting the best deal. So save some time running around, scrolling on your phone. Forget all that, just come in and see us. We do carry TVs from sizes 32 inches up to 100 inches. And then we also have projectors and things that go larger. So whatever your needs are, we can meet those. And of course, as always, I remind people that financing is available so you can get your project rolling. So that is all that I wanted to share today. And I'm gonna hand it off to Bob and Bob to get into the meat of this thing. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, Emily. And boy, you can't ask more than that with a nice showroom and knowledgeable staff, and they take care of the pricing too. So I'm there. So anyhow, yes, Bob Snyder, I'm out here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and no, it hasn't quite burned down yet with the largest fire in our history, or second largest fire in history, going for on its third month now. So anybody got any spare water? We'll just out this way. And my partner today is?
Yes, my name is, Bob Turcotte. It's the Bobs today. I'm in the Salt Lake Valley here in Utah, and we get all the nice smoke from those nice fires down in California. So we appreciate those, then sending those up to us.
What more can I do, Bob?
Right.
Jump ahead, buddy. So, to cut the cord, no way around it, you need a smart TV. Just no two ways about it. Otherwise, you're going to have a dumb TV and not much to watch at all. And cutting that evil cable cord, boy, that gets people's attention when we talk about that. And LG, and you also need an internet connection too. I kind of just sometimes take that as an assumption, and I shouldn't, but you do need a stable internet connection. It doesn't have to be the highest of highest speeds. 25 megabytes is going to work fine. You can always turn other things off to free up bandwidth if you have to. But you have to know that all smart TVs are not created equal. And LG started getting into smart TVs back into 2014. And, we put smart in our TVs and we started doing surveys, and we're finding out that people were buying the TVs, but 3/4 of them were not hooking up any smart features because they couldn't figure out how to hook it up. So we adopted a system called WebOS, which any of you have any old Palm pilots or Palm products, I can say. That's a WebOS based product out in San Jose, California, down the bottom of the bay. And so we acquired WebOS, we acquired Palm. And our TVs have always been rated by Consumer Reports and others as the easiest TVs to set up, which is important, and use. And we really pride ourselves in ease of use and setting them up and just getting them going. And every generation really gets, because I've seen them all, get smoother and smoother and smoother. And you can turn on auto updates and they'll update all the time. So there's really, once you're in and you're in the groove, you're good to go. Next slide, Bob. And that really is based on our assistants that we have built in. So this is very important. When you are shopping for a smart TV, you need to find out what smart assistants hardware is built into the TV set. Don't be fooled by works with. Works with is not the same as the hardware is built in. So our very entry level series, the 7000 series, is our works with series. And that's the way, quite frankly, many other manufacturers are. Our 8000 series and above, which is 90% of our TVs, all have ThinQ, which is our LG brain built in to control LG functions. So ThinQ AI. They have Google Assistant built in, which other platforms will have Google Assistant built in. If it's a Google-based TV, it obviously will. But we also have Alexa hardware built in, and not every other TV has Alexa built in. So if you have are used to Alexa or want to use Alexa, you can on our TV sets. That can be your primary smart assistant if you want it to be so. Or you can use a combination of all three. Not simultaneously, but one after the other. You can use a Google for a question and Alexa for another question and tell the TV to do something with ThinQ on there. So very easy to use. Now, as far as the works with goes, we work with Apple AirPlay and we work with Apple HomeKit, because obviously it's Apple and they're not going to let us sell their hardware, that's their hardware, in our TVs. We use natural language, which is very important, and that's something you have to see in the store. I can simulate it here, but to see how natural language voice control works on the TV, there's nothing else but experiencing by yourself. It really is the best. It is the easiest to use consistently of all the smart TV systems. We're an open platform, meaning that we want other devices to work within our TV sets. We all want to play nice together, as we used to say, which is a great thing. And that has a lot to do with home IoT. So yes, you can integrate the home Internet of Things into your TV and have other devices working through the TV. And the TV is the central control hub, if you will. So all three important aspects of a smart TV that LG TVs excel at. Bob?
Yeah, very good, Bob. Yeah, those assistants built in, whether you already have them in your home or maybe you wanted to try them out, you can do that through our TVs. So it's great stuff. But let's talk about something that's really awesome, and that is our magic remote, because this is really what brings all of this together. And first of all, if I want to get to the home screen on the TV, all I have to do, you can see that orange, that button that's orange there on the left side. If I press that, what's going to happen is you're going to see this pop up. And there's quite a bit of stuff going on here, and we're going to dig down into this a little bit, but I've got an info board at the top. I can search for anything I want, actors, genres, whatever. I've got top picks. Next on the screen, I've got an app list, all different things going on that main screen. Even products in my home that I can connect to the TV. live channels. You can see that. So as we go down the list, you'll see that here's what it looks like at the top, and it's going to animate again, and that's okay. But so right there, I can set, now I'd want to set it for Fahrenheit, obviously here in the US, and you can do that, and you can tell it what area you're in by your zip code, and then it will show you the weather. So when you hit the home screen, you're going to see the weather come up, and you don't have to go and either go on the internet or go ask it somewhere else. So all of this is really cool. And as you can see on this screen, it goes all the way down. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Now, when you first turn it on, you'll see the info and search at the top. You'll see the recommended. But as you go down, you can see all different things going on, all the way down to things that we'll talk about in a few minutes, like sports alert and shopping and Netflix and Disney. And the cool thing about this is it's personalized content. So it's going to show you in a lot of cases based on something you've watched before, just like in Netflix. If you've watched something and then it comes up and it says, based on this that you watched, we suggest this. So that type of thing going on there. So it's really cool. Well, again, we'll talk about the favorite sports team thing in a minute here in Sports Alert. But that is what you're going to see. Now, the one I want to point out here is this home dashboard. We're going to show that real quick. That's the third one down there, and we'll show you a closer view of that. So with the home dashboard, I like to call this kind of a one-stop shop, right, for a lot of things that are going on in the TV. And I realize this is kind of small, but on the left-hand side, you can see that it says, well, it looks like David Bowie owns this TV. That's cool. But if I have a phone connected to the TV, all you have to do is have your phone on the same network that the TV is on in the house, your Wi-Fi, and you can connect to the TV through your phone. And we'll show you that after. You see that on the side. Then your different TV inputs, you can get right to them right there on that screen. It tells you what sound out you're using, whether it's the internal speakers on the TV, or maybe you have one of our sound bars connected externally. It will show that it's going to that. Storage, maybe you have a USB drive connected. I like to put a lot of videos and things that I watch quite often right on a hard drive and connect it directly to the computer, and it would show me right there that that's available. And even below that, media server. We have an app that you can download onto your computer, and you can share the information on your computer, your media, in your home network, and then access it right there. So it's really cool. And then IoT devices, Internet of Things devices, like maybe I have an air purifier or the washer, and it's showing that I've got 20 minutes left on that cycle. So I know that that's going to be coming up. So all different types of things. I can even on my inputs, I can rename them so that, instead of just saying like HDMI 1, I can say, my Blu-ray player or my gaming console or whatever it may be. So it really gives you a lot of stuff right on the main screen.
And you can control them from that main screen too. So anything, like it's an LG product, the LG vacuum cleaner, washer, dryer, refrigerator, they'll log in. I have a little portable stick vacuum cleaner I bought, and it's now on my LG ThinQ app, so I can see where the charge is on my vacuum cleaner, or if it, what's the status of my vacuum cleaner. It's like, really, the vacuum cleaner plugs into the system also. It sure does. Got Wi-Fi built into it. But how do you control all that easily? Because, it could be kind of daunting. And that is with our magic remote. And hopefully you can see this on camera a little better across me. You look at the magic remote up close, and it really is a one-of-a-kind remote, because the number one way that you control what's on your screen is the TV is like a heads-up display. And the magic remote, you simply point at the TV and the cursor appears on the screen. So if you're looking at the example of that PowerPoint, you see the magic remote and the TV in the background, point that magic remote at the TV and you see the cursor moving. It's like an air mouse. It's the same mouse as a Wii mouse. You move the remote, the cursor on the screen's going to move. You put it over something you like, you hover over that, and you click the center button. So it's got a little center button, just like a mouse does, same type of wheel action on a mouse. And you click that center mouse and you're there, you're doing it. You don't have to do like on an old school remote, is maybe you can see the buttons there that go left and right and up and down. You don't have to go left, 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 up, 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 down, 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 right to get to a place and then hit enter. Just take the cursor and put it over, just whip it on over there and click on it. Boom, and you're done. So just point and click and scroll, and you can scroll. So again, like a mouse, it's going to roll. It'll roll up and down, and that cursor would be rolling, or where you are on the screen, it'd be rolling up and down on the screen. So just treat it like a mouse that you can hold in the air, and you'll see the cursor. And what better? I mean, you're watching a movie. Do you want to be looking down at the remote, trying to find that button in a dark room? And remotes are never backlit anymore. Boo. Well, I'd rather look at the big giant TV in front of me that's lit up and see what I'm looking for. What am I looking for? I'm looking for YouTube. There it is. Boom. Click on it. You're there. No one else has achieved that yet. And the Magic Remote is on all of our 8,000 series, which is really a kind of an upper entry level series, to our nanocell sets and to all of our OLED sets. And once you get used to it, people can't go back. Oh, and the next important way to control the Magic Remote is voice control. So right in the middle is a microphone there, and we'll get a close-up on that on the next couple slides up. And voice control works by, you can have a conversation with it. So no kidding, you can actually have a conversation with your TV now. Wee-oo, kind of weird, huh? So for instance, on the example on the screen, you could hold the microphone button down and say, who is Tom Cruise? And the TV would tell you Tom Cruise is an American actor, blah, blah, blah. And then right after that, you could say, find movies with them. I don't have to repeat Tom Cruise movies. I just say, find movies with him. Then on the bottom of the screen, a list of all his movies would come up. I could narrow that down and say only comedies. Anybody remember a Tom Cruise comedy? What was it? It was that Rock Theater one, Bob?
I think so, Bob.
It
Rock
was
of Ages.
Rock of Ages. There it is. It was right there. That's the only Tom Cruise comedy I remember, and that's what would come up. Or you could say action movies, and a whole slew of action movies, of course, would come up. That is, once you use that and get used to doing that, you can use this for anything. You can say how much time is left on the dryer, and it'll tell you if you have your dryer hooked up on the same Wi-Fi system, how much time is left on the dryer. And you go, oh, I can go to the store. I got 40 minutes left on the dryer. So that is a really cool way to control the Magic Remote Control. It just gets easier and easier with every generation, is the voice control and the point and shoot or a heads up display looking at the TV with the cursor. Bob,
Hey, Bob.
there is the cursor. Yes.
Sorry, can I just jump in real quick? I don't have a question, but I just want to say personally, I have several LG TVs of my own. And then I also had my in-laws get some LG TVs from Paulson's. And I have to say that the Magic Remote just makes life so easy. I have wonderful in-laws. They are over the age of 70, and some people over the age of 70 are great with technology. Some are not. My father-in-law is, my mother-in-law is not. And just the voice piece makes it so easy for my mother-in-law to just say what she wants and have it appear, and she'll tell you about how she wishes my father-in-law was that way. And then at my house, everyone from my in-laws down to my 7-year-old son can pick up that remote, and they understand that whatever that arrow is pointing at is what they're going to get when they click the button. So it was a really, really intuitive and smart way to develop that technology for easy access and easy use across a variety of people. And I really applaud you for that.
Nothing better than a testimonial, and you can sure tell when testimonials are true.
You know, and after you Magic Remote, you never want to go back.
No, it's why would you? So this is a closer look. And again, those 3 brains that are in the TV, and you don't have to worry about that, but just know there's one brain called thin Q, and it handles things within the TV or the LG family, other LG devices that are hooked up to it, or things like you could say Family Feud channel. And by the way, when you hold the microphone button down, that's the only time it's listening to you. Okay, so it's not on all the time, so you don't have to worry about Google's spying on Google's listening to me. It's on. Well, yeah, when you hold the mic button down, he is, but when you're not, he's not. So hold that mic button down, and you could say Family Feud channel. It's going to go right there. I'll tell you more about that from our favorite channel. You could say search action movies on Netflix, and if you have Netflix, it's going to go do stuff like that and change TV volume to 50. Change, channel 150, so simple stuff like that. That's all TV. If you want to do something that's not TV centric, there is a Google button on the bottom. So if you look on that PowerPoint there, you can see on the left hand side is that Google symbol, the bottom left. And if you held that button down, you could say things like, if you had Google hooked up to it, you say, show me my photos. So if you have Google Photos in there, boom, your photos would come up on screen. You have your calendar, show me my calendar. Boom, your Google Calendar would come up on the screen. This is always a fun one to say, what's the fastest way to the airport? Because as trainers, well, not lately, but last year and the year before, we used to be trying to get to the airport all the time. And you could say, what's the fastest way to the airport? And it would put up on the screen of the TV a map, a Google map going to the airport. And then it would also throw it to your phone. Hey, pretty handy. I'm jumping in the rental car. It's on my phone. I'm off to the airport. So that's Google. It does all things Google built into it. Only when you press the button. Amazon Alexa is on the other side of Google. You know, what's the weather today? Simple stuff like that. I like it because once a month on Audible, which is a part of Alexa, you get free books and they'll read you a free book. So the last book I heard was The Life of Pi, which was, I wouldn't have read, but it was a pretty interesting book to listen to around the house on there, and you'd stop and start whenever you want. So there's that aspect of it. And then I mentioned the point and scroll part, and that mouse in the middle, you can see it, that's up above there. So, and then the ergonomic design, you can see that cut on the PowerPoint where you can hold it in your hand. It just kind of sits in your hand naturally. It was redesigned for 2021, so it's even easier to use and simpler to hold this year.
Yeah, Bob, and even when you hold that, it all of the keys that you normally use are kind of right at your fingertips, aren't they?
They are, and we have more of the hotkeys that we didn't have out last year, individualized. So Netflix is there, of course. Prime Video is there, of course. Disney Plus, add that into her there. They're a major player in streaming this year. And then LG channels. Yes, LG has its own TV channels baked into all except our very entry-level TVs. So LG channels is there. And we'll tell you more about that. There's an example of some of them on the screen right there. The IP stands for Internet Protocol, and that'd be channel 248, which is the channel that just contains movies. So there's a gaggle of movies in channel 248, rolling comedy stuff in 249, travel channels, not traveling much today these days, might be nice to kind of watch. Food channels are always nice to watch, in my opinion. So there's a whole host of channels we'll go over later in the deck, but those are your dedicated keys right there.
Awesome, Bob. Well, let's, a lot of what we've talked about is really going to play into the rest as we talk about cutting the cord. So let's get into that. And, you know, as you can see here, here's some of the traditional cable satellite services. You know, you've got Dish and DirecTV. They're nationwide, so we know you have those up there. In fact, we did a search as we were doing this to see what services you had up in your area. You know, Xfinity from Comcast, AT&T TV, and others, right? So these are traditional, and you know. But you know, you're probably paying quite a bit of money for them. So as we take a look at this, you know, as you want to cut the cord, what you want to do, there's a couple of reasons for cutting the cord, and you may already. So think about this as we go through this slide. Think about where you're at, because you may be in a hybrid situation, right? You may have one of these services on that you see on the screen, and then you you probably have Netflix or Amazon Prime or another. So kind of a hybrid setup. But here's a couple of reasons to think about cutting the cord totally from this group. And one of them, the most obvious when people think of cutting the cord is, I want to save money, okay? Because money, I mean, that's important to all of us, right? But there's actually other reasons too to consider cutting the cord. First of all, more customized content. Why pay for hundreds of channels that you don't watch most of them on? In fact, a lot of times with the channel lineups, when they say they've got hundreds of channels, you look pretty close and they've got a high definition channel and then a standard definition channel of the same network. And it's like, well, if I've got a high def TV, I'm not going to watch the other one anyway. In fact, I used to get on my kids about that when you used to have to pay more for high def. I'd say, we're paying for it, don't watch the other channel. But that's something. So more customized content. You're also able to stay up to date on the latest releases. Things come out just brand new right there through these other services. And, no underhanded pricing tactics. That was another one that I ran across, because the prices are up front. If Amazon or Netflix, if they're going to raise, well, Netflix, I think they just raised their prices just a while ago, but you know what? I got a email and it said, hey, we apologize, but we got to raise our prices. But it is what it is. It's that price, it's that tax amount, and that's it. Now, if I do a on-demand thing and I pay a little extra, I know that's coming, and it tells me it's coming. But there's no equipment rentals. There's no other things like that are hidden into the price. And also, after a year, I don't have to be sitting there and trying to rebundle my services, right? Because we go through that every year, and it seems like no matter how you try to rebundle, it just doesn't get down to what I used to have. So the prices go up and things like that. So with that in mind, I want to cut the cord. Well, what's the first thing I'm going to do? I want to get my local channels, right? That's one of the first things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what's called, and you're going to see if as you start looking into this, you're going to see some acronyms, and we'll cover them really quick here. OTA, that just stands for over the air. So that's our traditional antenna. You would not be, you'd be amazed with how many people out there don't know that they can get high definition channels free of charge right over the air. They've thought that the only way to get those is through a provider. You just need an antenna. And we listed a couple of them. Hopefully you don't have the third one down there with the customized tinfoil on it. Those are kind of from the past, but maybe you have a roof antenna, or maybe these new internal antennas that you can put in your home really pick up a lot of channels. They're very, very thin. I have a couple of these on my TVs here, and I just actually put them right on the back of the TV, and you can't even see them, and they do a really good job. So what that's going to do is get me my local channels, and that usually comes out to about 20, 30, maybe even 40 channels that are local channels, all my ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, PBS, and all of those. So that's the first step. Now, the next step would be what we call what they call OTT. Now, this sounds kind of funny because it's over the top, which is like maybe what our presentation is sometimes. But over the top OTT means that these are actually provisioned through the internet. These are IP channels, Internet Protocol channels, and they are strictly through the internet. So all you have to do is get whatever services. And like I mentioned, you may have any combination of this hybrid model that you see in front of you, but you may want to get away from the first part and just go to over the air. Now, I'll give you a personal example really quickly here. I have Sling TV, $35 a month, and I have an antenna. And what's really awesome is because I connect because I have the antenna connected to my TV, it integrates my local channels into my Sling electronic program guide. So it's all there in one place. and I can access those channels even if I'm within Sling within the app itself. So there you can see there's a lot of them there. There's, you know, LG channels that Bob mentioned. I mentioned Sling. A lot of things going on there. So that's kind of what you'd want to start thinking about as you start getting services. And I would suggest what you do. I mean, maybe what I did was I took the amount that I was already paying for my cable satellite service and everything else, and I wrote that down, and then I started looking at what the cost of the other services were, because you know, honestly, you could get out of control. It's not very hard if you start adding all these services, and you know, you could end up as much as you were before. Now that might be okay, because you know what you're getting customized content. You're not paying for stuff you can't change or delete or anything else. So where do you find these? These are in the LG content store, and there's some new ones. You know, all of the originals. You know, we added Disney Plus last year. You know, there's ones being added all the time. In fact, just Bob, if I remember, it was just last month, HBO Max came on board.
Right.
So if you have that, you can access that directly through the TV. Fubo for sports, we'll talk about after. Pluto TV, which is also part of LG channels, and Tubi, free movies and TV. And that's just to name a few. So in our content store, if you go out there, this is what you're going to see. And we have quite a few apps out there. And you know, the number one on the right side, there's entertainment, 520 different apps that have to do with entertainment. Now, these may be some overseas ones or whatever, but all of the majors that are in the US are going to be there. News and info, life, game, education, you know, 862 different apps, and that number keeps growing. Very simple to find. You can either do a search. You'll also see as you come up into the app store that, you know, there'll be some that are highlighted like premium apps or new ones or things like that. So there's always something going on there, and you can even access it from the internet. You could type in LG Content Store, it'll bring up the app, the direct connection. You can go in there and take a look and see what's in there, even just not even being on your TV, and you can do that on a regular computer. Now, there is another way also. Let's say that maybe we don't have an app. There isn't an app for Philo with us right now. We have a web browser in our TV that is a really good web browser. Now, traditionally with the web browsers in TVs, they were very limited. A lot of times if you went to a site and had certain content, it couldn't display it and things like that. Our web browser has been improved dramatically, especially this year, that you might be able to use a certain service that you have that might not be an app on the TV. So for example, Philo is one. You can go to Philo TV if you subscribe to that, and it'll actually work right through the browser on the TV.
Bob, I just looked up Tubi the other day because we don't have that app. It found it right away. I downloaded it. I put it in the browser favorites, so it's right there when I open up the browser, and it works like a champ. And that's 20,000 awesome. Free hours, 250 content providers, free. I like the ones that are free. Imagine that. So I didn't get roped into anything, you know, for $50 a month. It's free. So if we don't have that app, just type it into the browser, and you can bring it up in the browser.
There you go. And, you know, you can even run Microsoft 365 through the TV. If you get, I have a Logitech, and it's not to any one brand, but I do know Logitech works very well with our TVs. When you get that little dongle that you put normally in a computer, that you put that in a USB port on the TV, you've got a mouse and keyboard on your TV. You can run Office right on your TV if you want to. And it even has ad blocking and things like that. So it's really a great browser, and it's just another way. I know that, you know, I mentioned Philo. You can do Roku. If you happen to have a Roku on another device, you've got an account, you can bring that account up on your TV through the web browser. So I even watch BYU football games, Bob, through the BYU TV website. I bring that
I
right
bet
up.
you do. And that's on all of our TVs. So if it's a
Yeah.
smart TV, it's got a web browser. Easy.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's, try it. It's just fun. And don't forget these other options. Maybe you have a DVR with a bunch of content on it. That's one way that you can get content into your TV. A Blu-ray player. We recommend LG. A gaming system, or even your cell phone. And I mentioned cell phone. This is how your cell phone can work through the LG app. And you can actually, through the LG TV app, your phone becomes a remote control, a fully featured remote control on your TV. You can even scroll around just using your finger on the screen, and you get full control of your TV. You can also, there's another thing that you can do, and you can actually play your TV sound from your phone on your mobile device. So maybe an example of that would be, it's at night, you've got your phone there, maybe you have your headphones connected to your phone. You can send your TV sound out to your mobile device and listen to the sound right through your headphones. Or you can even, through Bluetooth, you can connect a pair of Bluetooth headphones directly to the TV. So we really do give a lot of options out there for things that you can do and ways to connect into and out of your TV. So there's just a lot going on here. But Bob, I think it's time maybe we kind of shift gears and let's talk about some movie, sports, and gaming.
Ah, how majestic. Wouldn't we like to be there? Well, you actually are there, Bob. So I guess,
Yeah,
you're okay. There you are over in the corner. All right, next slide. Let's jump into it.
funny guy.
Funny. He's got jokes today. So movies, sports, and gaming, there's all kinds of streaming content you can get with that, and advantages that LG TVs can take of those streaming services there. But first of all, looking at you see pretty much the same list of tiles on there, and this is just the top ones. Believe me, there's many, 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 many more. And of those 580 some odd tiles of they're not all for you. There was one the other day I got excited about, and I looked in the content store for it, and it was in Romanian. And while I'm Hungarian and can speak a little bit of Hungarian, I sure can't read anything near Romanian. So not every title is for you, but these are the prime ones that are growing all the time. And how you can make that picture look better. There's modes that are built into, well, all LG TVs, all 4K LG TVs have Filmmaker Mode built into them. Many of our higher end TVs have what's called an ISF calibrated picture mode. So you can make the picture look like it's dialed in for either a dark room or a bright room. That's really close to a calibrated picture, let me tell you, folks. And then our higher end TVs, our 2/3 of our TVs, our nano cell TVs and our OLED and our QNED mini LED TVs have things like Dolby Vision IQ, which is the latest in Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. So the whole Dolby ecosphere, if you will, and they're all run on that WebOS, easy to use WebOS background. So let's take a look at Filmmaker Mode, Robert. Filmmaker Mode is something that the movie directors have been, and actors like Tom Cruise have been clamoring for many, many years, and they finally got it, and all LG TVs have it. So when you select under the picture option, you have many different modes, from extremely bright to down to cinema modes and Filmmaker Mode. And Filmmaker Mode essentially turns off all of the switch gear in the TV that make it look like it would not be in a cinema. So if you turn Filmmaker Mode, you've disabled all the motion handling and all the other items that make it look like a TV. And people like J.J. Abrams bring up a great point. And all the work of hundreds and in some cases thousands of people is going to end up on those film frames. Filmmaker Mode allows the integrity of that work to be seen and appreciated as intended. They've done a lot of work to make the movie film look like they think it should look. Who are you to go into your TV and readjust all the picture and color settings the way it's not supposed to look? So if you want to see it the way they filmed it, put it in filmmaker mode. In fact, you can even set the TV up so it'll automatically recognize, oh, this is a movie. I should turn it on filmmaker mode, as opposed to it's a TV show. It's The Price is Right. It's not a film. So, but you can choose to turn that on or off. That's a real neat option, and it makes a big difference. Let's jump to Dolby Vision.
So Bob, you're saying that they didn't want the grass to look fluorescent green?
It's not so well in California. We don't have grass anymore, but when we did, I don't remember it as fluorescent green. We have AstroTurf, but you know, it's as close as we get.
That's different.
So when you're at the movies, you know Dolby. In fact, if you go, remember when we used to go to movies? Maybe we'll go to movies again. I don't know. But when you would look up at a movie theater listing, you would see sometimes it was a really good theater. And by the way, they'd charge more for it, that it was in Dolby Vision. It was shot and filmed in Dolby Vision. And then it had Dolby Atmos sound, and they'd charge you a little more for that, a $25 movie ticket. Wow. But you'd go in and Dolby would make the picture and the audio really good. So you know what? You might not know what Dolby is, but when you hear the word Dolby, I bet you think it's good and it's high quality, because it is. It definitely makes it better. And so we can bring that experience home to our OLED TVs, to our nanocell TVs, and to even our 82-inch and 86-inch of our 8000 series. Again, one from the bottom series, UHD TVs will have things like Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. And Disney and Netflix and Prime and all those other folks stream in Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. So you can take advantage of this picture quality and sound quality improvement in Dolby. Next slide there, Robert. And how many titles? Well, right now there's only about 3,800 titles in Dolby Vision IQ and Dolby Atmos. And by the way, Dolby Vision and Dolby Vision IQ are two different things. The competition one of the competitors doesn't have Dolby anything because they refuse to pay Dolby. We don't get these for free. Dolby just doesn't hand these out. You know, you don't get in line and they hand these out. You buy these from Dolby Vision. And the other competitor has Dolby Vision, nice, but it's not Dolby Vision IQ. And Dolby Vision IQ adjusts the picture quality to the brightness of the room. So whether the curtains of the room would be one setting or open, and if those curtains are closed, or maybe it's nighttime and there's just a window in back with a light on the back of the room, it would adjust the picture quality to that other setting and still keep it within the parameters of good Dolby looking content. It's really pretty amazing and makes a huge difference. Know that all the LG TVs that have that, again, the nanos, the mini LEDs, the OLED TVs, those are the cream of the crop. And even some of the 8000 series will have Dolby Vision IQ and Dolby Atmos, and tons of stuff to watch streaming there. So that makes a big difference in how your streaming content looks. Maybe it could be screaming content too. I don't know. Depends what you're watching.
Depends on the movie, right?
Depends on you. Next slide. And so LG channels, we're finally here. We're taking a little long, Bob. We're going to have to put it in gear. Mostly me, my bad. There's a picture of the main page for LG channels now, and it's powered by 2 internet protocol companies. Again, we buy this stuff and bake it into our TVs from Xumo, XUMO, and Pluto TV. So we've got over 300 channels right now, and that number is always growing, of free internet protocol channels. So if you've got internet at home, our TVs come with over 300 channels in them already. Boom, just like that. That's really a great thing. And their channels, well, actually jump to the next page. I'll give them a list, the channel lineup on here. Those 300 channels, you can see they are comedies, music, drama, sports, movies, kids, reality TV. That's where I get stuck. Hobbies, news, talk show, entertainment, the other place I'd get stuck. Some of the channels that come to mind is Fox Sports. I watch Fox Sports all the time on there. My brother, when he's over, watches the Titanic channel. Yes, they have a channel just all about the Titanic. He's got like a plate from the Titanic and whatever, Bill, have fun with the TV. So there's A&E, there's History Channel. There's all kinds of stuff to watch on there. But let's take a look at some of our favorites, Robert. And mine again would have to be Fubo Sports. It's also regular TV channels, but you get a ton of sports on it, including NFL Red Zone And I spent a year or so, almost a year, with a broken leg in a hospital bed with a big giant OLED in front of me TV, recouping. And I watched a ton of NFL Red Zone. In fact, pretty much from 10 in the morning till 8 at night on Sundays. So that's built into it. Local sports are built into it. If it's being filmed locally, you can pick those up there. That's, you know, the Cal games I can see, Stanford games I can see. They're not blacked out anywhere. Dry bar, I just happened to run across. That's a great, it's hilarious. There's all kinds of, well, dry because there's no alcohol in the bar, and dry because it's a lot of deadpan comedy too. It's that deadpan comedy style, which I really love there. So those are a couple of my favorites.
Yeah, and you know, Dry Bar is actually they're located right down here in Provo, down by BYU. So they've
How
got
appropriate.
Yeah. Well, you know, Comedy Central's there. I like Family Feud. They even have compilations of you know, all the funny things that happen during the shows, and they have repeats of shows and everything. I'm a Star Trekker, so you know, they've got Star Trek on there, and I think, Bob, you like Hard Knocks, right?
Just finished up last night, and yeah, so we got to see the incomparable Jerry Jones, and what a car salesman he is. But I'll leave that at that. That was a good series. Jump ahead, sir.
You bet. Well, you know, this is all fun, but there's something bigger, isn't there, Bob?
Is there? Oh, that's right. There is Next Generation TV, and the Next Generation TV, better known as ATSC 3.0, over-the-air broadcasting of 4K TV for free. We like for free. Well, once you get the antenna established, right, you got to have an antenna, indoor or outdoor. I'm going to say outdoor in this case. Is going to get the best bandwidth. And you have a tuner, and this tuner is built into our LG G1. So if you're looking for a spectacular TV, and I do mean one of the highest, well, not one of the highest rated TV on many of the reviewers on the internet, take a look at the G1 OLED. The mount is spectacular. It'll wall mount. You can buy feet for it. It mounts perfectly flat against the wall. It's a flush mount, and it has this special tuner built into it where you'll be able to receive 4K digital broadcasts for free, channels, and they're out there. There's 34 markets that are open right now. So if you look at that map and all the areas that are in that orange color, which I believe the Detroit metro area is in that orange color on there, has at least one free digital TV in 4K right now. Maybe you could even pick it up in the showroom. Who knows? Light blue is coming on board right there. And yep, that is the Vegas market. So I knew that was happening. And then dark blue is hopefully what's coming on board by the end of the year. Obviously, that evil thing that's happened, the C19 has slowed things down, as it slowed everything down. But look at this. This is taking hold. This is real. This is not vaporware. So you'll be able to get free 4K TV, and it's not upscaled. It's 4K. Either you get the channel in 4K or the channel doesn't come in. It pixelates and it doesn't come in. No picture. So you don't get a bad picture on there. You either get a great picture or it's not on yet. So this one is near and dear to my heart. And then sports, what relates to sports, we mentioned sports alert only. So on all LG 4K TVs, if you're a sports fan, you can be alerted to scores that you set up ahead of time of what your favorite teams are. So you can follow up to 14 of your favorite teams across 20 different leagues. And that little box you see in the middle there, the circle, will pop up when Tom Brady scores again, or Jimmy Garoppolo gets picked off again. And when the score changes, by the score changing or the end of the quarter or the end of the game is nearing, and if a score happens and you want to click over to that channel, take your magic remote and that cursor, point at that box, click on it, and boom, you're watching that channel in that game. Can't get any easier than that. So all of our 4K TVs have that option. It's really fun. And then Fubo TV, I mentioned all the goodies that it has. It's over 24 sports channels on there now. All the big ones: ESPN, Fox, NFL Network. They're my blessed Red Zone that I watch coming up this weekend, as a matter of fact. And you can send it to 3 other devices besides the TV. Yeah, it's a subscription, so it's 65 bucks. It's one of the more pricier ones, but you have the freedom to pick and choose where your interests are on there. And this is one of mine. So that's it for sports. Let's talk about gaming real quick. Gaming is big business. If you think gaming is just kind of an off the side thing anymore, no, try 2.5 times greater revenue of both music and movie monies combined. So $167.9 billion in gaming was done in 2020 versus 12 for movies and 21 for music. That's big business. So LG recognizes that, and we have the best gaming features. And just listen to all the reviewers, and they'll gush over certain of our TVs that are gaming TVs. What makes them great is the game optimizer, which we're going to take a look at next right here. And that's that menu off to the left. So with 2 clicks of the button, you can make adjustments to your game as far as what type of genre of game it is. The color and sound will change. There's 4 different ones you can adjust for there. So that's a pretty crazy thing right there. You can turn the game dashboard on, which is what you see in the middle of the TV screen. That'll give you all your vital stats at a glance. So you know, okay, I am watching 120 frames per second. I have the black stabilizer on, so things in black areas are going to pop out, and you can go to all your settings from there too. So that is really cool. Robert, why don't you take us home?
Yeah, I was going to say, so my neighbor is a big gamer. No matter when I come home at night, he's there. You can tell he's on his computer gaming. And I told him about my LG TV that has both AMD FreeSync and G-Sync built in, and he was drooling. So I don't know. He might just show him up at my door with his gaming console one of these days. But what we do, we were the first to be NVIDIA G-Sync certified, and that was on our LG TV, OLED TVs. So on our OLEDs, you have G-Sync and FreeSync. And then on the rest of our lineup, most of the rest of our lineup, we have FreeSync. So these are 2 different technologies based on, based on the type of console that you are connecting, whether it's a Microsoft or, a PS5 or a PC, right? And what it's going to do is it's going to eliminate that tearing, that stuttering and juddering, right? Because we all know that we love tearing, stuttering, and juddering, said no one ever, right? And you don't want it to look like that whatever it is on the right side there is coming apart in the air. So you don't want that, and that affects your gaming. There's other things that affect the gaming on our TVs, right? And these are all things that that if you're a gamer, you know exactly what we're talking about here. If you don't, but want to be one, you can for sure Google this stuff. And because if you're going to be connecting your console to a monitor or a TV, you're going to have to make sure that it has these things to have the best experience. So low input lag, right? HDMI 2.1, which came out a year or so ago, we support that. And on down the list, variable refresh rate, auto low latency mode, eARC, HGIG. These are all things that are important. And with our LG TVs, for gaming, I think 90 for our NanoCell TVs. These are our premium LED TVs. The Nano 90 supports FreeSync, the QNED 90, which is our mini LED TV with a lot more lights in the back and more dimming zones. That one is also optimized for gaming. And then if you want to really go number one, go for a C1 or a G1 OLED, because these TVs they've got it all built in, and they're going to do just an awesome job with gaming. So like I said, someday my neighbor's probably going to show up with his console and want to hang out. So we'll see how that goes. So with that, Emily, did we have any questions pop up in the chat box or anything that we can answer at this point?
I have not had any other questions pop up other than Barbara. She said she signed on late. Where can you see the recording? This will be going up on our YouTube in the next day or so. It usually takes me about a day to crop off all of our chit chat in the beginning before everybody was on and throw in my titles and stuff. So in the next day or so, and I do send a follow-up email to everyone who registered that includes the link to the recording and to a survey where we welcome your feedback. Bob, one thing I would love it if you would touch on that I think, LG has really set the standard for is OLED. LG OLED is far and away some of the most popular technology that we have in our whole showroom. So can you just explain what OLED means and why it's so significant in the TVs that you guys produce?
Love to. OLED stands for organic light emitting diode, and the only difference between LED and OLED is that O. So the organic part is the magic of OLED, and that is a proprietary process to LG Display. So LG Electronics, parent company, LG Display. So if you see anything marketed in the United States of America as an OLED, there's about a 99.9% chance it's an LG OLED panel that they're buying from LG Display and marking up and putting it in their own TV and putting that label on the front and whatever processor, and there they go. So off to the races. So it's our technology. So why not buy it from the people that invented OLED? The benefit of OLED, to get down to the nitty gritty, is it's better black levels. So in other words, this black shirt that I'm wearing is going to appear deeper, darker. The best way to describe it is an old way to describe it. Looks like wet black paint. An OLED TV, when it shows its black levels, looks like wet black paint. It's that deep and dark. And if you have black levels that go that low and bright levels that go that high, not to get technical there, but you have contrast ratio. And contrast ratio is all that stuff in between, going from dark black all the way through the grayscale up to the mid grays, into the gray, into the white, into the very bright, into bright white. And all that stuff in between, when you lay on top of a color scale, makes those colors deeper and richer. Okay, like, sorry, one of my favorite football, well, not sorry, one of my favorite football teams is the 49ers, and they have a crimson blood red. When you see that red in person, it only looks the same on an OLED. It doesn't look the same on an LED TV set, because LED TV sets by their design go back to not having deep dark blacks. They'll get black, and in a room by themselves, where you're not looking at another TV, they're going to look okay. But you'll notice that black kind of looks kind of bluish black. Where you can see it a lot on a movie with the black stripes on the top and the bottom, right? The movie with the aspect ratio, the original film aspect ratio. Well, on an OLED TV, that black just blends into the movie because it's pitch black. It's just a part of the movie. On an LED TV set, and even my own LED TV sets, it's going to be kind of that bluish black, grayish thing going on there, not really jet black. So bottom line is, well, the film, Francis Ford Coppola loves OLED TVs. He just redid, well, not just, it's been about a year and a half now, redid his Napa Vineyards, Coppola Vineyards, beautiful vineyards up there about 20 miles north, and redid them all with LG OLEDs. Because once he saw an OLED, he was done. And we have him quoted saying there's nothing else that beats an OLED. He's a director. They know what that content should look like. My last testimonial is, what a lot of Hollywood recording and movie studios look at to master a movie? They have to look at something, right? They look at LG OLEDs because it's the closest thing to $30,000 30-inch TVs, which burn out in about 2 years, which is a completely different technology. And our TVs aren't $30,000. They're a couple $1,000s for a highly rated 65-inch C1. And, I didn't know. I mean, I remember Chris and I remember Dan walking through the upper rooms of LG at the CES show. Once I saw their pictures on your Paulson's website, I said, oh, I remember this. Yeah. Well, if you can buy that stuff at the prices that you're talking about at your store, OLED's the best technology, and LG, it's our technology. Just look at it. Let your eyes be the judge. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Great, thank you so much. Yeah, and that's the great thing about OLED is that we think about we think about, you know, deeper blacks and all of that, but the reality is the darkness or the brightness lives behind that color scale. And so the vibrancy of the colors is just unreal. I mean, there are times that I'm walking through the showroom and I'll just find myself standing there watching some of the like food change and stuff. Some of the demo screens are just gorgeous. We did just have another question come in from Steven. He said, do all LG OLEDs have the Atsc 3.0 tuner built in?
I wish, and Mickey just answered that. Boy, that
Okay.
was a big wish for us. But so far, our flagship, the G1, is the only one that has it. But just between you and me, Stefan, you can buy separate tuners, external boxes. And you know, I don't know how good they are. I can't testify to the quality. They're a couple $100, but you can buy Atsc 3.0 tuners. They might even be from LG. When LG got into the digital business in the mid 90s, you know how LG made all their money? The digital TV tuner. We invented the digital TV tuner. So every TV set on your wall or in your living room or in your basement or bedroom, if it's a digital TV, it's got LG TV tuner in it, either built by us or built under license by us from someone else. So we're kind of into the tuner thing.
Yeah, well, that's a theme that we're hearing now, is that LG is developing a lot of these technologies, and then other companies that I'm sure they make great sets. I know we carry a lot of great brands, but all of that technology originates within the LG team. And so if you really want to get down to the heart of the matter, if you want the best technology, best performance, best price, I mean, LG is a really, really great option.
Yeah, that's a great point. And, you know, Bob touched on it when he was mentioning OLED, but, you know, really the processor that we have has been optimized and developed to take full advantage of that OLED panel. We know what that panel does. We know what it can do. We're not just being handed a panel and try to figure out how to make it work. We develop the panel. So the processor and the panel, that's really our secret sauce. And that's where we can really optimize. And that's where all of these, you know, all of these technologies, you know, can be brought to the consumer. So
you check it out. The competition uses quad core processors. Quad core is on our entry level TVs.
Yeah.
We use Alpha 7, Alpha 9s. With the Alpha 9 compared to a quad core is about 14 times greater color accuracy. Isn't that what you're after when you're buying a color TV, is color accuracy, I'd hope? So that's how extreme these processors are.
That's great. Well, I don't see any other questions in the chat, and it is getting close to time to wrap. Anything else from you guys?
Well,
Nope.
there's Bob's cat. Bob's cat loves to tune in to the webinar, but you know, we had a really great time with you, and hopefully this has helped you to maybe rethink what you have and rethink even the TV you have, and go to Paulson's. And you know, it's great that I was so impressed that you guys will actually match and beat prices, because you know, people want to go online and buy, and it's such an impersonal experience. Go to their store and have that personal touch, and these guys are experts. So definitely the way to go.
You got it.
Thank you so much. And actually, we did launch our e-commerce on our website earlier this year. So if you do get that hankering in the middle of the night to take a look at what we might have in stock, you can check out our prices online. You can check out, which sometimes are better in the store, but you can check out what we have in stock online. You can look through all of our different offerings, and you can actually buy things online, pick them up contactless curbside. You can come in and shop with us in person, whatever your level of comfort is. We are here for you. So coming up, our next webinar, our next Plugged In with Paulson's, is going to be November 10th, and we're going to be welcoming our friends from the Macintosh family of brands. They're going to be talking about Rotel and Project products. So we're excited to hear about that. We have a ton of events this month, so I will send that link out as well to our event calendar. I did put it in the chat as well, but we have Control for smart home webinars. If you're into this style of learning, we have some great information there. We have a CEU for that, for anyone who's in design and build. We have a launch party happening later this month for the new Bowers & Wilkins 800 series Diamond. So we have a lot going on, and we would love to invite you in or online to see us. So Bob, Mickey, our friends at LG, thank you so much for being here, for sharing all that knowledge. Cutting the cord is such a hot topic, and for good reason. We're all sick of being a leash to our cable box, and we want to fly free with the new technology that's out there. So if we get any more questions, I will be sure to reach out to you. But I hope everyone has a beautiful rest of your week. For those of you celebrating holidays this month, we have lots of great holidays happening. I wish you peace and joy as you celebrate your new year and your other holidays as well. So thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your week.